I don't know if that's very clear.
Whoop. I didn't know you'd taken it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
We really need some sun on it to get some contrast on the letter.
You want to read this?
Oh, those things are hard to
Put
read
it on pause.
without
Yeah,
the
put it on
right-
pause and read it.
Whoops, wait, start over. Should probably hit rewind and pause again. Thank you, James. Somehow we can come up with all of that. Somehow. This is the other side of all that writing.
Ricketts battery. A lot of men fought and a lot of men died. And it's always the same, always a difference of opinion.
Oh, you left the lens cap on.
Again, pause if you want to read it all. See if we can see what this says. Here's the rest of it. I can't film everything.
We're the Glee Club.
Wait, I didn't see that.
Cindy.
Photograph them.
Yep. Don, that's the Mormon temple. It's got the angel Moroni on.
Uh-oh.
I'd hate to insulate them,
69th, 71st, 72nd, 73rd, 4th, 5th, 81, 81st, 82nd, 83rd, 84th, 88th, 90, 91st, 93rd, 95th, 96th, 98th, 99th, 102, 106, 7, 9, 10, 11, 114, 115, 116, 18, 19, 21, 39, 40, 49, 50, 51. Whoa, what is that? Ooh, how'd you get up there?
Heck of a jump, but worth it.
Yeah, 153rd. Whoa, 153rd continued. 55th.
Wendy,
First,
just film the ones we
artillery, light artillery, general officers. Then it wouldn't show any. Pennsylvania at Gettysburg. Hurton, whoever he was, and Abraham Lincoln, whoever he was. Schimmelpfennig, is that it? Biddle. Fisher. Gonna read it, put it on pause. Meade, Reynolds. Chaffetz.
Open your mouth.
Uh,
Drop it in.
Looking
The
straight
light's
down.
blinking.
Bernie, Hancock, Pleasanton, Greg. It's kind of spooky in there.
That's wrong. In fact, I think I will. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to turn their TV sideways to see it, Dad.
That's not my problem.
See, that's where I get it from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can relate to that.
'27th Infantry, 28, 29, 30, 31, 34, 35, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 46, 49, 53rd, 56th, 57th, 63rd, 68. Whatever that is. From a long way away.
40 brains when you come down.
Independence Hall. There's Congress Hall. This is where the Liberty Bell is kept.
He's good, but chases pigeons.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to walk like that.
4:30.
No smoking, no drinking, no sandwiches, I guess, no eating.
It's gonna capture it on camera.
Thank you.
If you believe everybody supposedly has a little bell name chips.
Why don't you read the writing? And why don't you write the reading? I mean,
If you need another coat, oh, is it going?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if you need another coat, I can give you this one.
No,
Another
that's all
piece.
right. I'll be all right. Let's just go in and
Yeah, it's too cold out here.
yeah.
Get in my way.
End up on my shoulders.
As I said in the other building, forming a nation is like baking a cake. You got to start out somewhere. We started out with a basic law foundation. Now the laws we use today are a combination of laws we've taken from around the world. But if you came into this building in the 18th century, the only law system you would have to obey is the British law. This is a British colony. This courtroom is an 18th century British courtroom. It's called a courtroom. It's named because you did not enter this room by coming through a doorway. You actually came through 3 open archways. Now in the 18th century, all trials were open to the public. Come and go as you wish, but if you wanted to actually stay and see what was going on, you'd be doing exactly what you're doing right now. Standing in the gallery area. You would not be seated in an 18th century courtroom. Now you probably didn't know on the trial then. Well, the truth of the matter is, usually between 300 and 500 per trial. After all, it's the only form of entertainment the city of Philadelphia can offer you. There's no TV, so you're not going to watch your soap operas, and there's no Nintendos, no Game Boys, no video games. You're going to have to come here and have fun. You see every type of trial you can think of. Military trials were held here. When the Pennsylvania Supreme Court met here, you would find 5 judges sitting up there. You're being tried for treason, armed robbery, or murder. You would find 3 judges up there. And only 1 judge up there was a very common trial, like public drunkenness, public indebtedness, and the most popular trial here in the city of Philadelphia, excessive gossiping. That's where the young ladies would be arrested in groups of 2 or more on the streets for talking. They'd be brought here and tried. If they are convicted, they would be sentenced to go back home, where they will spend the next 3 days standing in front of their homes, tied and gagged so you can't talk to anyone. That's the way the laws worked in the 18th century. Now all the trials were by jury though. The jury men sat right there in that box there. 12 men. 2 larger boxes were used by the grand jury. 20 to 24 men. And 99% of the cases, all the jurors would be men. The only exception would be if the defendant was a female, then members of her sex would be allowed to sit in the box, providing they could prove they owned property. If the person being tried here was a race other than white, members of his race would be allowed to sit in that box, as long as they could prove they were free and owned property. As soon as the defendant was brought to the room, it was immediately put on display so everyone knew exactly who was on trial. Simply put in this little box here. This is called a prisoner's dock. It's typical in all 18th century courtrooms at that period of time. But you notice there's one item missing out of this box. That's right, there's no chair. This is where we get the term standing trial. You will physically have to stand throughout your whole trial, regardless of how long it takes, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year. Now the British law system we lived under then and our own law system today are pretty much the same. We both believe that you're innocent until proven guilty. But face it, how innocent do you look standing in one of these little cages? We no longer use these today in our courtrooms. called the Assembly Room. It simply has to be the most historic room in America, because the birthplace of this nation took place right here. Both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were both adopted in this room and signed in this room. Now, in May of 1775, the Second Continental Congress came here to Philadelphia. They actually came here to write a letter to King George III of England. They were going to tell him how upset they were with the taxation system, how upset we were with the fact we had no representation in Parliament. But the most important thing they were going to tell them is they were upset with the fact about this mercantile system we were living under. Now, under this mercantile system, it was against the law to manufacture anything in these colonies. Period. Anything you needed had to be brought to England. They did that so they could tax it so they could get enough money to pay off their war debt. The war they were trying to pay off was the French and Indian War. Now, these gentlemen that came here to represent the 13 colonies, there were 56 of them, they realized what they were about to do could be considered as treason. They needed a place to meet in secret. They were offered this room, and this room was perfect, because when the Pennsylvania Assembly met here, those doors were always closed, with 2 armed guards placed outside here. And believe me, if you're standing in that hallway with 300 spectators, you can't hear one word that goes on in this room. And that's why they picked this room, because those gentlemen met here for well over a year. On June 7, 1776, a gentleman in this room from Virginia by the name of Richard Henry Lee stood up. He simply told this Congress that these United Colonies ought to be and should be free and independent states. This is a great idea. But you know, not all the delegates in this room were in favor of cutting ties with England. So they tabled the motion, said we'll discuss about it later. We'll form a committee to look into it. They picked 5 men. Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Roger Sherman, Robert Livingston, and Thomas Jefferson. It's these 5 men together combined to write a document we call the Declaration of Independence. When they were finished with it, they brought it back to this room right here. And they presented it to the Congress that was meeting here. And you know the Congress that met here in 1776 is no different than the one we have today. As soon as they saw this document, they started to argue. They argued over everything. Little things like, should we use the word king or the word tyrant? They even argued about large things. One full paragraph was omitted in this room. That paragraph dealt with slavery. Thomas Jefferson wanted the slave trade stopped. He didn't blame the American people. He actually blamed the King of England for allowing it to happen. He also wanted the slaves to the South to be set free. But the southern states were not about ready to abolish slavery. So in an effort to keep all the colonies united, they said, we'll table the idea of slavery, we'll talk about it at a later date. Unfortunately for this nation, it took us 90 years to discuss it a second time. Well, on July the 4th, 1776, in this room, the rest of this document was voted on. What I'm going to ask you to do today is something a little different. I want everybody in the room to put yourself back on July the 4th, 1776. Picture yourself sitting in one of these seats. Because in a minute, I'm going to give you the opportunity to see how you would have voted if you'd been here that day. Many problems facing these men, well over 200. We don't have time to go into them all. I'm only going to mention 3 very briefly. The first problem, protection. Right now, you're all being protected by the British government. In the north from the French, the south from the Spaniards, the west from the American Indians. Once you sign this document, you no longer have that protection. And without a doubt, you're probably going to have to fight the men who are now protecting you. Second problem is this mercantile system. Now, under that system, the British Navy guaranteed all ships leaving England would arrive here safely. But once this document is signed, no British ship can land on American soil. No American ship can land on British soil. You're not friends with France, Germany, or Spain. Where are you going to get the supplies you need from? The last problem I'm going to mention is kind of unique. Once this document is signed, we're going to war. There's no way anyone in this room can avoid that. But who are your allies? Who's going to fight with you? The French? The Spaniards? You know, you really don't know. And there's no way you're going to find out for sure. They are fighting England. But will they help you? You don't know. Now, there are 2.5 million people living here in these colonies. But how many of them are going to back you in war against England? Again, you really don't know for sure.
42 hours.
You mean they were in
One
a
time, I
tried it
never
too.
see just go ahead and sit down these benches and others. They do date back to the 1750s. This room was also used to entertain people. They had dances as well as concerts up here. That's why the harpsichord's here. But when the British occupied this building, this floor became a prison. Any American soldier captured in the Battle of Germantown or the Battle of Princeton were brought back here. The officers were locked in the governor's office. Enlisted men were locked over here in the committee room. This long hall became a hospital for any American soldier wounded in either one of those two battles. You see, the building itself has been used for a lot of things throughout the years. Those documents I talked about downstairs are beautiful documents. There are a lot of great ideas in them. But I don't want anybody going home thinking the American people are far superior to the rest of the world. Because those ideas are not our ideas. We took those ideas from the different countries at that time. We took the best ideas of each one of those countries and we combined them into those documents. But when they were written here, they were nothing more than pieces of paper with words on them. Nobody knew if they were going to work or if they could work in that type of a combination. You have the opportunity when this tour is over, please visit the building at the end of the block here called Commerce Hall. It's in that building there. And we proved to the world that those documents written here were more than just pieces of paper. They were working and living documents. We used the Constitution to expand our nation by adding 3 brand new states in that building: Vermont, Tennessee, and Kentucky. But probably the most important event to take place in that building was something the whole world was watching. What would happen once we made George Washington president? Would he step down? If you give a man that much power, would he go to his head? Would he become a dictator? Would he become a king? Would we have to revolt against him? Well, the whole world was watching. And in 1796, George Washington gave their answer, when he simply stated he was not going to run for a 3rd term. He said 8 years as a politician was more than enough for any man. He said he wanted to become a private citizen. And in January 1797, in that building at the end of the block here, he gave his farewell address to the nation. 3 months later, John Adams was elected Vice President of the United States, and in that building right there, he took his oath of office. And for the first time in the history of the world, there was a peaceful exchange of power. One man to another man who was not a relative, with no military action. So you can see the importance of those documents that were discussed in this building. But you're the people that have the job now to maintain those documents, to improve on what they have to be improved and to be. But you cannot do it alone. You must do it as a united people. Doing this, our nation and government gets stronger. I couldn't have made this next statement 2 years ago, but I can now. Within the past 2 years, we have actually had representatives from Russia, Yugoslavia, Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia, just to mention a few nations. They have come through this building taking the same tour you just took. When they left here, they took with them copies of our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. They took them back home to write documents similar to them in their own nations. Now, just because it works here, doesn't mean it's going to work over there. But it still should give a strong foundation to build on. If you don't remember anything else you've learned today or anything else you've seen, I hope you take this last comment home with you. Since 1776, we have taken from the world to get what we have now. You people have an opportunity of a lifetime. You have the chance to give back to the rest of the world. But we have taken and improved the work. And in doing so, maybe the world will be a better place for all of us. I'd like to thank you very much for coming. If you have any questions, I will be down on the harpsichord. If there's anyone in the group who knows how to play the piano and would like to play a small concert, please meet me down by the harpsichord. I'll let you try that. Otherwise, I'm going to start the tape of the harpsichord. When I do, would you please make your way as quietly as possible back down the stairs and exit out the back door.
can't go up that way.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
We do reenactments here every year, usually 2 or 3 a year, dressed in costume, and we have a road bikers up there.
So yours,
Okay, the third one in the top row is mine. Only I can't. Can't afford a real one, I'm trying. Yeah. The ones on
these are
the
real.
ones on the bottom row are originals, and on the tables are original. The ones on the players are back in the back. Well,
The signer. Second bank.
Get that part out there. Let me go up high here in a second. Look at how long that goes. Extend out in the distance. I wish my eyes had zoom. I think the fish are here, judged by all the boats.
lazy driver. It goes way out there. Try to get a picture of rocks that bounced around. Say in Jamestown. Just the woods all around.
I wonder who was pulling. I wonder who was doing that.
Colonial National Historical Park. Here at Glass House Point, we are, in the words of Captain John Smith, near a mile from Jamestown. Today, the ruins of Jamestown may be visited downstream from here. In 1608, the second year of the settlement, glassmaking was attempted at this location. The Virginia Company, which sponsored the settlement, sought a source of profit from the resources found in the New World. With hardwoods readily available to fuel glass furnaces, the company decided to attempt glassmaking. Boulders from the river and bricks were set in clay to form the furnaces. Polish and German glassmakers then mixed the sand from the river banks and potash from the furnace fires to make glass. However, due to the struggle simply to survive, glassmaking did not prosper. Only one shipment of glass samples, probably window panes, is known to have been sent back to the Virginia Company in England. In later years, the profit from tobacco made that industry more lucrative.
Look at her.
Come on, let's go.
She's scared.
Poison or whatever.
That way, I go get you.
What this is, yeah.
Touch some guy's house.
Don't get in front right there. Take a picture. All right, you can't get out of here.
nice boots.
Gonna get a picture of me or what?